My name is Michael, and I'm a 35-year-old businessman. But to my family, I'm just a son who comes home once a month. My childhood room was my sanctuary. It was a place where I felt safe. It was a place where I could be myself. But my mom sold it. She didn't tell me. She didn't even ask. She didn't know that my revenge was about to start and that I was about to buy my room back. If you're watching this, drop a comment below and let me know where you're from. And if you have a childhood home that you love, please like and subscribe. You won't want to miss what happens next. My childhood home was not just a house. It was a part of me. It was a place filled with memories. My old room, in particular, was my sanctuary. It was a place where I could be myself. The walls were still covered in posters of my favorite bands, and my old books were still on the shelf. I had a deep emotional attachment to that room. My parents, on the other hand, were very practical. My mom, especially, believed that everything had a price. She didn't understand my emotional attachment to the room. She would always say, "Michael, it's just a room. It's just a space. You're a grown man now. It's time to move on." But for me, it wasn't just a room. It was a part of my past. A few months ago, I was on a business trip. I was away for a few weeks, and I called my mom to tell her that I was coming home. She was happy, but her voice felt a little strange. She was a little too happy. I didn't think much of it. I thought she was just excited to see me. When I got home, everything seemed normal. My mom gave me a hug, and my dad shook my hand. My brother was there, and he was happy to see me. We all sat down for dinner, and everything felt normal. But after dinner, when I went to my room, my heart sank. The room was gone. The posters were gone. The books were gone. Everything was gone. My room was now a guest room. I was in complete shock. "Mom," I said, my voice shaking, "what happened to my room?" She looked at me, a little surprised. "Oh, Michael," she said with a calm, happy voice. "I sold it. A property investor bought the entire house and is renovating it. I thought it was a good idea. We got a good price for it." I couldn't believe it. My own mother had sold my room without telling me. She had sold my memories, my past, my sanctuary. She had sold it all for money. I was filled with a cold, quiet anger. I looked at her, and I wasn't angry. I was just calm. "You sold my room," I said. "You sold my past. You sold my memories. You sold it all for money." She looked at me, a little confused. "Michael," she said, "it's just a room. It's just a space. You're a grown man now. It's time to move on." But she had no idea that I had a secret that would not only change my life, but also change hers. A secret that would make her realize that some things are more valuable than money. What was my secret? And how will I get my revenge? My mother told me that it was just a room. She told me that it was just a space. She had no idea that my memories were more valuable than her money. She had no idea that her betrayal was about to give me the greatest gift of my life. She had no idea that my secret was about to be revealed. The truth is, my family had no idea that I was a successful businessman. They just thought I was a freelance writer who was still trying to find his way in the world. They didn't know that my freelance work had grown into a successful company. They didn't know that I had made millions of dollars, and that I had a plan for revenge. I was filled with a cold, quiet anger. My mother had sold my room, my sanctuary, my memories. She had sold it all for money. She had no idea that my revenge was about to start. My revenge was not about money. It was about a lesson. It was about a lesson that I was going to teach my mother, a lesson that she would never forget. I contacted the property investor who bought the house, and I told him that I wanted to buy the room back. He was surprised. "Michael," he said, "it's just a room. It's just a space. You're a grown man now. It's time to move on." "I want to buy the room back," I said, my voice full of cold, quiet anger. "I will pay you double the price." He was in complete shock. "Double the price?" he asked. "Why?" "It's not about the money," I said. "It's about a lesson. I want to teach my mother a lesson that she will never forget." He smiled. "I understand," he said. "I'll make it happen." I bought the room back, and I spent a few weeks restoring it to its original state. The walls were still covered in posters of my favorite bands, and my old books were still on the shelf. I had a deep emotional attachment to that room. The day the restoration was complete, I went to my mother's house. She was surprised to see me. "Michael," she said, "what are you doing here?" "I have a surprise for you," I said. "A surprise that you will never forget." I had a key in my hand, and my revenge was about to start. What will happen when I show my mother the room? And how will she react when she finds out the truth? My mother's face was a mixture of confusion and shock. She had no idea what was happening. She thought she had won. She thought she had sold my memories for money. But she had no idea that I had a surprise for her. A surprise that would not only change her life, but would also change mine. I took my mother to the house. She was confused. "Michael," she said, "what are you doing? This isn't our house anymore." I looked at her and smiled. "It's not your house," I said. "It's my house." She looked at me, a little shocked. "What are you talking about?" she asked. I pulled out the key from my pocket and opened the door. We walked inside, and she was in complete shock. The house was the same, but it was also different. It was a new house, but it was also my home. I took her to my old room, the room that she had sold. The door was closed. I looked at her, and I saw a look of confusion on her face. "Michael," she said, "what are you doing?" I opened the door, and she gasped. The room was the same. The posters were still on the walls. My old books were still on the shelf. The room was a museum of my past. It was a museum of my memories. She started to cry. "Michael," she said, "how did you do this?" "I bought it back," I said. "I bought my memories back. You sold them for money, but I bought them back for my soul." She looked at me, and I saw a look of shame on her face. She had no idea that I was a successful businessman. She had no idea that I had made millions of dollars. She had no idea that her betrayal had led to my success. I left the house and never looked back. I had my revenge, and it was a sweet, satisfying revenge. I had proven her wrong, not just with my success, but with my integrity. I had shown her that my worth wasn't in her approval. It was in my own self-respect. I had found my vindication, not just in my business, but in my life. I had learned that my family wasn't about blood. It was about who was there for me when I needed them the most. And in the end, that was me. So that's my story. It's a reminder that true wealth is not in your bank account. It's in your character. And sometimes the best revenge is to walk away from the people who failed to see your true worth. Have you ever had to choose between your blood family and your chosen family? What did you learn? Share your stories in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to hear more real-life lessons. Thank you for listening.